This is what you get for free with FastAPI. No extra libraries, no manual documentation writing. Every endpoint you build shows up here automatically, fully interactive, testable right in the browser. In the next few minutes, I'm going to build a complete task manager API from scratch using FastAPI, and by the end, you'll be able to understand how it works, not just how to copy paste it. Without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing first we have to do is to set up our project, create a folder. I believe you must have created a folder. I have a FastAPI folder here. Let me create my virtual environment first, then we'll continue. So I'm going to call it FastAPI env. Go ahead and create this. Also go ahead to activate. So now we are ready to start building. Let's install what we need. One package, FastAPI. That's the only thing we need. Inside we'll have all other packages we need, including Uvicorn, which is the one server that actually runs our app. You do not need so much with FastAPI. That's one of the things I like about it. To install FastAPI, I do pip install FastAPI, just like this. So why am I installing it this way? Let's come to the documentation of FastAPI. You will see that under here, that is the standard way of installing it. Note, make sure to put FastAPI standard in quotes to ensure it works on all terminals. So that's the reason why I'm installing it this way. And let me go ahead and install it inside this my virtual environment. Okay, you can see it's installing a whole lot of packages that is going to work with, including Uvicorn, that's going to help us to run our app. So all the packages I've installed. So if you want to see all the packages that FastAPI came with, you can do pip freeze. And let me bring this up so you can see all the packages that it came with. Alright, so now the first file I'm going to create, and which might be the only file I will use in this project, is just main.py. So inside this main.py is where we'll do everything we'll need to do. Okay, import FastAPI in itself. So what I will do is from FastAPI import FastAPI. Now when we import this, I will create a variable app equals to FastAPI, and I will do at app.get, then I will return a message here instead. Now you can see we have 3 lines of actual logic here. The first is to import our FastAPI. Then I created an app instance. I went ahead to define one route, which is the app.get, our home route. So what this particular decorator does for us here is that it tells FastAPI when somebody visits the home page with a GET request, run this function for us. That is what it does. Now let's run it to actually see what's working. And like I said, our server is actually run with Uvicorn. Now there are 2 ways you can run your project. You can either do FastAPI dev, which will start your project fine, or you do Uvicorn main app reload. So I'm going to use this option. This main here is the file name we created, while the app is the variable we created here. So what this reload here means that this our server restarts automatically every time we save. Now this is going to save us huge time while building. Let's go to our browser and watch this. I'm going to come to the root folder now. You see, it's showing me that Task Manager API is running. So now if I navigate to docs, see, there's our endpoint, fully documented. Nobody wrote this. FastAPI generated it by reading our code. Now I'm going to keep this tab open because we are going to use it in this entire video instead of using Postman. We do not need Postman or Cool. So with this, we are good to go. The next thing I'm going to be showing you now is how to use path parameters plus query parameters. I'm going to create another function to illustrate this for you. So I'm going to make this more useful by building a task manager. So we need a place to store our task. For this tutorial, I'm going to keep everything simple, just a Python list in memory. In a real app, we'll make use of a database, but because I do not want to add complexities that will eat up our time, because I want to just do this in few minutes, that is why I'm going to do our database in memory. And to do that, I'm going to create task equals to a list. This is going to serve as our database. First thing I'm going to do is to add an endpoint to get one specific task by its ID. But aside from this, I'm going to add an ID inside task ID. I will do a get task function. You notice that I added this task ID in the URL here. Now that's a path parameter. This is what it is. If you look at the function itself, I also declared this int for the task ID here. This type hint that I'm declaring here isn't just for decoration. FastAPI actually reads this and actually enforces it. So it's going to read this, then it will enforce it in this function. Let's go back to the docs and try passing letters. So Let me see. So if I refresh this now, we'll now have the get root. We also have the one for task here. Let me try something. Let's try it out. If I put in words here, execute, you see, please correct the following validation errors and try again. It rejected it automatically. Nobody needs to write validation logic in FastAPI. That's the entire pitch of FastAPI. In fact, like each type hints become real, enforced rules, just like the way we have done it here, and it has enforced it automatically. But in a situation, if I wanted to pull up a get of 1 now, let's execute, it will see it will return null because we do not have this ID yet. Now let's proceed further. Now what I'm going to do next is to now add the query parameters. These are like the key value kind of parameter bits after a URL. So how do we add this? I'm going to come and create a list task. Let's call it app. Okay, then this will be for the list, def list underscore task. So I will do if completed. Inside this place that I have this function, I have to use completed instead. So I'll do completed bool equals to none, but I'm going to do it another way. This is meant to be either boolean. If it is not boolean, I will set none, so that way we can come here and say if completed is none, then go ahead and return the task, and we'll return. Okay, so this is going to let someone to call like task this way. You can call task, you can go ahead to check if it is completed or not, just like this, completed equals to true. So it will let you to call something like this to check. So because completed has a default value of none, so it's optional, and if it's not provided, we'll just go ahead and return everything. Let me show you. So if we come back here now and I refresh this again, if I want to pull up this and I come here and I do task, right, completed equals to false, you see it will return for me not found. What about true? Not found. Okay, so let's return back to docs. We are making progress. This will make more sense when we have like our post. So what I'm going to now do is to show you how the Pydantic models and post request works. Since we have already done get, we now need to create a database to actually post some requests and see how that works. I'm going to come up. Let me close this down first. Below here, right now we have no way to actually create task. For that, we need to accept data in the request body, and this is where FastAPI's other superpowers come in. It makes use of Pydantic models. So instead of manually parsing JSON and checking fields exist, we just describe the shape of our data as a Python class, and our Pydantic data will go ahead to handle the rest. First is to import from Pydantic or import base model. Come down below here, create my class task. I just need two things. Title is required and must be a string, while completed is optional and defaults to false. FastAPI will validate any incoming data against this automatically. The next thing I'm now going to do is to create our task endpoint. So we have the list, we have the get. So I'm going to do it below because it's meant to actually come before the get. So let's first of all do the create. So to create, we will do at app.post. So I just even see that I made a mistake. That was why this one was not working. This is meant to be a get. For the post itself, what I'm going to do, def create task. So by typing the parameter as this task, we are telling the FastAPI that we expect a request body, validate it against this model for us. Once you validate it, give me a usable Python object. Let's test this live instead of just trusting the code and see how it works. Come back here, see the post is there, post comes first. So I'm going to create a task. Let's come here, try it out. I'm going to call it learn FastAPI, and I'm going to hit execute. Good, so you can see what has happened here. We have a 200 response body, which I've saved this. So I'm going to add one more, learn FastAPI 2, set this to be true, execute. Okay, so you see we have that 2 added. Okay, so now we have the post. I just want to complete the CRUD operations, then we'll try to test run everything that is going on. So we have got the create and we have also got the read, which is the get. So if I wanted to get this ID, you know what we'll do, I will try it out here, and if I do one execute, it shows me this, which is the ID one. Now if I do not specify the ID and I come back, okay, let's come back here. So for the get this list, we need to fix this. Is meant to be at, so that was why this function was not working. If you come back and refresh this, we'll now have this get, and if you try it out and I execute, is showing empty. So because this database, I refreshed it, so it lost everything received. So if we come back to post, let's create one first. execute, add another one too, and change it to true, so execute. Good. So if we now close this down and come to this, if I leave it empty and I execute, it pulls down the request body of ID 1 and 2 for me. Then if I specify true, it brings the one that has to do with 2, and if I specify false, it does the same. Now what I'm going to do is to complete our CRUD operations. We have get, we have post. We need to now add update and also delete. Now let's come back here. I will do this one below the list, and I want you to notice that if you look at all the patterns of what we are doing here, it's kind of basically identical to what we have already built. I'm going to first do the one for update at app.put task, specify the ID, call it update task, right? I'm going to also specify for task and task, if task ID is equals to task, then I will do this. This is one of like the simplest way to do it, but what I'm going to do now to just make it better is to do it this way, where I specify this on the task, and I'll go ahead and return error task not found. Let me also do the one for delete at app.delete. Go ahead, return this function. I can just add this way. The put itself here, what it does is that it combines what we already know, a path parameter, we already know this, and a request body for the new data. Now the delete just needs the path parameter, which is this. Once you understand path params, the query params, and the request bodies, right, every new endpoint is just a remix of the same three things. Let me slow things down and really show you what we have built. We have already done like a full CRUD operations within few minutes. That's how fast API is. Now let me show you from our Swagger UI. So this is called Swagger UI. I'm going to refresh this so that everything we've done will automatically show up. This replaces Postman for most of your early development. I will try to update the task we created, execute, see the response, update instantly. Now let's delete it and also try to test run everything we've done. So this one is the root folder. Now this is the post. Because I have refreshed, everything is gone. So I'll go ahead and try it out. Then I'll add this as learn fast API, execute, learn fast API 2, change this to be true, execute as well. So now we have two datas in our post. The first thing I'm going to now do is let's try to test run the put. We already test run get earlier, so let's try to test run the put. If I put something here now, execute to say please correct the following validation errors and try. The value of the ID I want to try is the 1, and I want to change this to be capital letter. Now change it to true. So if you do that, now we have been able to update this, and if we also want to update the one for 2, we can now change it to this 2 here, and I'll also change this one to false. Execute. Good. So we have also updated the one for 2. So now let's try the delete itself. If I pull up, try it out, and I put 1, I go ahead and execute. What happens? It has gone ahead to delete task 1 successfully. Now if we come to, let's try to pull up task 1 again from the get, or even all of the get itself. Let's execute. What we'll have is only 1 ID now inside our whole get, because ID 1 is no longer existing. And if we say let's try to also pull it up here, try it out by getting 1 ID, you see it will return task not found. I have shown you guys like every CRUD operations and how to build a fast API. I have handled all the CRUD operations of API, where we have our get, we have our post, we also have put, we also have delete. Before we wrap this up, I need to quickly show you guys one thing. So let's say someone makes a request of a task that doesn't exist. So like we'll come to the get, right? So you know we have deleted 1 now. So we execute this, you see it's returning a 200 error, task not found, right? This is actually very misleading because it's not meant to return a 200 error. So what I'm going to do is to fix this properly. If we come back to our get task, right, I will come up first, add HTTPException, and in our get here, instead of returning our error this way, I'm now going to use HTTPException with the status code of 404, then the detail of not found. So we can also do the same thing for this, right? Instead of using this, I'll go ahead and use this. We can also do the same for this as well. So that's the right way to do it. So now if we come back and I'm going to refresh to delete now, and I try it out and I want to delete this, execute, this gets deleted, right? here. So if I want to access this again, what it will show me now is 404 not found, task not found. So if I also try on our Pute and I try it out, instead of showing me a 200 error when this is not found, execute, it will also return a 404 error for me. Now just to recap what we have done, every endpoint you saw was built from 3 ideas. That is the path parameter for identifying a resource, which is this, and the query parameter for filtering, then the Pydantic models for validating incoming data. Now FastAPI took those type hints and turned them into automatic validation, which is this. This entire documentation page that we are seeing here is for free, and FastAPI provides it. So if you want to keep going from here, the next natural step now is to actually move this task based model here, and instead of having it as an in-memory list, we will swap it for a real database and also add authentication. So that is what I'm going to cover in the next video. If this video helped you, please drop a like, subscribe for the next part, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.